Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about human perfect DNA, the B double helix, as we know, according to DIVYANK, what it should be like. Perfect to the core, from the level which is ideal for a perfect human being to be in tune with universal consciousness. Let me start about the chemistry from before the creations. As I made it very clear, if we have to understand DNA clearly, we should see the imprint in the divine consciousness before the even universe is created. And I do believe it was darkness from which appeared. But let's get into the chemistry. At this particular picture, I'm talking about Kapil Vriksh, the tree which is imaginary, the tree which Vedas and Upanishads talked about it. And roots of this were in the universe, and plant and the leaves, fruits, flowers, everything came on the earth. You can see that picture very clearly. But right on top, you can see methane plus oxygen were getting together to form carbon dioxide and water. These are the three elements which are absolutely essential to create chemistry in the beginning. Hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen are the three which are to start with. And three molecules which played very important role was methane, water, and carbon dioxide. And it is water and carbon dioxide which came down to the earth and started the process of universalization. As I have made it very clear, there are four big inner planets between Sun and asteroid belt: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. All the four planets to start with had 97% carbon dioxide. And because of unicellular organisms of plant kingdom to multicellular to the plant as such are the one who consumed carbon dioxide and water converted into glucose plus oxygen, which was used by the human cells to produce carbon dioxide and water, and then Santulan had changed. As a result, 97% carbon dioxide of Earth is converted into 21% oxygen and 78% unreactive nitrogen gas. Now we don't have the carbon dioxide the way it was there in the beginning, or it is there in the other three inner planets. So let's move on to the next stage. As I told you, now repeat the same thing. Started with methane plus oxygen. Descent of carbon dioxide came down. You can see the picture very clearly with the clouds, thunder, rain god, Indra came down on the earth and in the ocean. Then started photosynthesis in plant kingdom, mineral kingdom to plant kingdom. In the light of sun, you can see photosynthesis of carbon dioxide 6 molecules and water 6 molecules, producing 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen. And this is the oxygen responsible for 21% in the Earth's atmosphere today. That's it. Now, same glucose and oxygen taken by the animal cells. Let's get it clear. You can see this animal cell and in the produces ATP and ADP for cellular functions, and then in the process is converted, glucose is converted into pyruvic and then carbon dioxide and water to start the circle. This is the most equilibrium part of the divine chemistry which I want everybody to understand. As a result, the earth has become blue and green instead of being orange and yellow. Now the coincidental divine drama of glucose, the first biomolecule, macromolecule, is a glucose which is absolutely essential for biological life. That's it. And as I told you, there are three monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, and galactose, and three disaccharides: maltose, sucrose, and lactose, and trinity runs everywhere. But now let's talk about the trinity of glucose itself. First, glucose is used for cell respiration to produce energy in the human body, is very clear. It's absolutely essential for active transport in the human body. Passive is done from higher concentration, lower concentration, like osmosis, is natural. Against the concentration, it is secondary process active which goes on, for which ATP plays very important role. ATP is converted into ADP. But there is also a process, secondary process, which AMP is used. Let's not go into that detail at this juncture, but the idea is important. That's first part. Second thing is how glucose is converted into starch. Glucose plus glucose is maltose, and polysaccharide are is starch, which is glucose, glucose, and glucose only. In the process, water is taken out and water is put together. This also shows what is important, the role of water. Now, the third thing is this is same glucose is converted into fatty acids and lipids, also amino acids and proteins. It is also used for evolution of the plant kingdom itself into 10 stages of development. That is also something with respect to Divyank I have explained very clearly. We need that kind of science in the world which can remove all the dichotomies which we have and produce something of Divyank class for the world to understand A to Z clearly and conscientiously. That's one part. Now they come to the question of formation of nitrogen and phosphorus. As I told you, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are three one. The fourth one which comes to play is nitrogen. And nitrogen is formed through the union of carbon plus hydrogen at 1600 degree temperature in volcanoes. That is one part, first part. And I do believe phosphorus is the fifth product which plays very important role in biology. And it is may be formed with the union of silica plus hydrogen. If carbon and hydrogen is nitrogen, silica plus hydrogen phosphorus, which is the fifth in the line of importance. And as I've written, 1600 degrees centigrade is the temperature for nitrogen. Same thing could be with phosphorus in volcanoes by and large. That's one part. Now let's go on to the next stage of phosphate. Now here in phosphate group, you have phosphorus 15 and oxygen 4. You can see the picture very clearly. This is trivalent 3, not tetravalent like carbon. So let's make it very clear. Methane is formed with tetravalent carbon plus 4 hydrogen to form. That's one part. It's very natural. Prime fuel firelight. Second fuel is trivalent. And here you have 3 oxygens which are ions and one is not. And that is phosphate. But now I'm bringing a new concept into the picture. Number of protons. So we talk of the science which has never been spoken in the history of mankind. And I'm bringing that aspect of chemistry which I think is the science for the next stage for the world to understand. Now, let's take monophosphate. Adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate, adenosine monophosphate. Let's say the monophosphate group of phosphate itself has got one proton which has 15 protons, one phosphorus has 15 protons, two hydrogen have 2, and 4 oxygen have 32, 49. That these are the two numbers. Please keep it in mind. When we go further, we'll elaborate how this can help us to understand Divyank better in organic chemistry, and biochemistry by and large. Let's come to we have spoken about phosphoric acid, which is one part of DNA. On the lateral side, completely outside, is phosphoric acid. Second thing inside is deoxyribose, which has 5 carbon, 10 hydrogen, and 4 oxygen. It is number of protons here is 72. Carbon 30, hydrogen 10, and oxygen 32 and 72. And you can see the formula very clearly. In this, oxygen has been removed from 5 to 4. Ribose is O5. Deoxy is O4. If ribose has got 70, 80 protons and deoxy has got 72, that's something let us understand. Keep it in the back of the mind. We're going to see the beauty as we go. Ribose 80, deoxy 72. Now come to chemical follower adenine. C5, H5, N5. Very clear. Number of proton is 70. Carbon 30, hydrogen 5, nitrogen 35 is 17. Let's keep this 70 in mind when it comes to the number of protons of adenine. Now comes the thymine, which is contemporary part of adenine. Its formula is carbon 5, H6, nitrogen 2, oxygen 2. The number of protons here is carbon 30, hydrogen 6, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16, equivalent to 66. That was 70, this is 66. Together they are 136 protons. Please keep it in mind. Adenine and thymine put together have got 136 protons. Now comes to the second group, cytosine and guanine. Cytosine's formula is carbon 5, hydrogen 5, nitrogen 5, oxygen 1. So number of protons is carbon 30, hydrogen 5, nitrogen 35, oxygen 8, equivalent to 78. That's it, 78. Now come to the guanine. It's carbon 5, 4, hydrogen 5, nitrogen 3, oxygen 1. And the number of protons is carbon is 24, hydrogen is 5, nitrogen is 21, oxygen is 8, equivalent to 58. So here you can see 78 plus 58 is again 136 only. 70 plus 66 is 136. 78 plus 58 is 106. There is only differences in the oxygen primarily. Now you can see the structure very clearly. Now let's go on to the next stage. As you can see this combination here, unexpected explore of DIVYANK B-double helix. You can see adenine and thymine have got two hydrogen bonds. But the number of proton is 136, which I have shown you. 70 plus 66, 136. Second one, cytosine and guanine, 78 and 58, and 3 hydrogen bonds is also 136 only. And this is something which I wanted to make it very clear. Deoxyribose is 72, ribose is 80, phosphoric acid is 50, and that's it. Now comes the plant DNA. As I've told you very clearly in earlier thing, plant DNA has got 7 strands, whereas human DNA has got 10.34419 strands. That is the difference between what world knows. World talks about plant DNA as 7 to 8 strands. And I want to be very precise, concise to the point. According to me, there should be only 7 perfect ones. Similarly, human DNA, they said 10 to 12. And I said 10.344 is a perfect one, not 10, 11 or 12 as such. And the structure is very, very clear. And I'm making very clear we need a precise, defined, perfect human design of divine nature, which nature designed. Let's not talk about disease model. Let the doctors handle it. Let the world be given the information of impeccable wisdom in the perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, mathematics, physics, chemistry is what world needs as a uniform standard, and that is what Akhand Vidyashram is trying to do for the world, to bring uniform syllabus for everyone in the world. It is not meant for any particular person. I have the holiness, world peace of everyone in the mind. My desire is uniformity throughout the world. All the human beings are identical, should follow perfection, not imperfection. Now there comes to question of human B-double Helix. This picture makes it very clear. James Watson and Francis Crick, these two great scientists of the world, received Nobel Prize in 1953 AD. For the model, you can see very clearly. They designed, created, and proving the structure of human bird helix is what it is all about. I am grateful to them that they have brought this particular picture to the world, to the genetic structure, which opened up the new gene structure and DNA and new science. It is almost 70 years plus, but 70 years have changed the thinking of chemistry of the divine nature within the human body, thanks to both of them. But little, I will talk a little differently as we proceed. Second thing, this is the two pictures which are standardly known a human double helix. This particular pictures I'm going to explain in the level. A sense of this is being represented in the next picture. You can see known B double helix as James and Watson critical model the world says. A width is 20 angstrom, which I showed you. Height is 34. This is one part which they talk about it. And strands are 3.4 angstrom. That means into 10 is equal to 34 angstrom. Minor groove is 12 angstrom. Major is 22. There are two enclosing chains of deoxyribose and phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid outside, inside DAQ. Then you have, they start from 3 and 5 carbons and on both the sides end. That is also according to DIVYANK. Nitrogen chain adenine and thymine is one group, guanine and cytosine, and the binding of 2 and 3 hydrogen, they have spoken about it. Very clear, absolutely no problem. Crystal clear work, phenomenal work to start with. They opened a beautiful thing. Now it's up to us to improve upon it. I am not countering it. Whole science has started with the intention of finding the truth. They started with man-made concepts, but we need to move on to the divine mathematics, not man-made mathematics, which is algebra geometry, which is confusing even the Nobel laureate Einstein. After 100 years of his Nobel Prize, somebody challenges him himself. He's the greatest scientist of the world. He's well respected. I respect him. I respect all the Nobel laureates. But all the work is very being improved. But I can understand because based on man-made mathematics, man-made physics, man-made chemistry, not divine. We need to understand the perfect divine nature, the way nature designed it, and that is the objective of Akhand Vidyashram by and large. Now, having done this, let's move on to the next stage. Now, this picture I have already shown. I'm not going to the good detail. It's a picture you see. It's a picture from internet as such. There's nothing much. But this is structure of a human DNA. You can see phosphate group on the left side. Then 5 carbon sugar, pentose, ribose, or deoxyribose in this form, and nitrogen group are the three things which are important. As I've been saying, Trinity is very important. Here also you can see Trinity. But then you can see the group with an adenine and thymine and cytosine group. The adenine thymine down has got 2 hydrogen bonds, other one has 3 hydrogen bonds. That is what I've explained. This is a picture for you to have clarity on that particular subject. Now let's give it. Adenine and thymine is the first group which has a double hydrogen bond. You can see very clearly double hydrogen bond as you see from internet itself. And how there's the two places, NH on top with O, NH and on the second part is the one. Others are not, third one is not involved in any hydrogen bond. And it is only because they're free you have hydrogen giving combination. Hydrogen is on top, hydrogen is on the right side, is two hydrogen bonds. Now come to the third one. You can see 3 hydrogen bonds are there on the right side, and as a result, one on the left side on top, which is open with oxygen, and 2 of the lower one, which goes to nitrogen oxygen. So that is the responsible for 3 hydrogen comp. One from NH left side and 2 NH from right side. They put together form 3 hydrogen bond, and 2 and 3 is again into DIVYANK ratio only. Now we are going to start on one thing which I've been very clear in the world as a science research. I am PhD and I know what research is all about. But unfortunately, as such, the research done throughout the world is a multi-dimensional thing. When it's a multi-dimensional, it all starts with many people to play important role. But when it comes to the B-double helix research, it is not James Watson and Francis Crick alone responsible. America has raised the question, okay, who deserves the credit? Is it James and Watson who got it? Or Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkin? These two were also equally involved in the research of B-double helix. 4 of them were to start with. They are the one who worked together as such, which is very unfortunate. James Watson and Crick got the Nobel Prize, whereas Rosalind Franklin and Morris did not get the Nobel Prize. If I was there, I would have seen to it how the research started, who are the people who have contributed, directly or indirectly. Even my PhD work and research as a guide, scientist, and other things, always been saying, give credit to the people who have 20% contribution toward the product itself. But I do know all the four of them are responsible for higher contribution, which made the difference. And that's it. And when I say that, the world should rise and give credit to all the people involved. That way, I have great respect for Newton. He says whatever work he has done is at the shoulders of this. Now, when I talk of Divyank and I talk of divine mathematics, I give credit to all the mathematicians of the world, all the scientists of the world, all the researchers of the world, and all the ancient Indian scriptures of Vedas, Upanishads, and scriptures, which gave me the fundamental wisdom to work on. And I'm only an instrument to look at the available, then find the perfection one by one. I am only an instrument which is supported by the divinity by and large to give me the knowledge much more clearly, because I am not working with my mind. My questions, answers come from my inner soul, and my inner soul is able to lead me towards something which has never been done by anyone in the world as far as maths is concerned, physics is concerned, chemistry is concerned, sciences are concerned. They are trying to do on their own self, whereas I am doing as an instrument of divine consciousness, and that is the difference. When come to the Divyank, it's a one-man show throughout the world, but foundation is laid by everybody, including these people. That is something which I'm trying to show very clearly. As far as Shibhushan Sharma is concerned, he is the concept owner, designer, everything of Divyank, but foundation of that goes to all the people of the world throughout the history who made me think rationally and move on to higher level. That is the reason why I'm showing this particular picture very clearly. We should take the credit. Whatever we have is not mine. I do not deserve, and that's the reason I don't even go to the public. I don't even associate myself. I have no ism. I don't take students anymore. But I want to leave behind the thing that everyone is capable. Let them do, use it, and bring new research on maths, physics, chemistry, and Divyank. Another thing, leave it at that. As far as I'm concerned, I live alone and I'm very happy with it. Because I do not want anybody to be involved in this work. It's my work, leave it at that. I want to unite the world, not divide the world in any form, whether it's a political, monetary, or otherwise. Let's rise to a perfect human being who are supposed to be custodians of the world. And that's it. Now, this question has been raised in America. The secret of life, three given. Why missing Maurice Wilkinson is the thing in top itself. The first one that. And I do know all the four of them should have been given credit, beside everybody else who made them the information basic. When I say Divyank, I give credit to everybody, all the scientists, all the mathematicians, all the thinkers, all the philosophers of the world. Because your thinking rationally towards perfection has helped me to find the answer based on your knowledge. So, similarly, let's give credit to everybody who has contributed. That's it. Now come to the question of Divyan design as designed by Shibhushan Sharma based on Divyank alone. Now I'm going to take it to the next stage and show you the basic differences. Basic differences, Watson and Crick talk of 20 angstrom. I'm talking about 21 angstrom because it's a part of Divyank. Each strand is 22 is angstrom. It's also part of Divyank. Number of strand is 10.344, not 10, 11, and 12 is also part of Divyank. Height is 33.9885 angstrom. That is also Divyank. Minor group 12 angstrom is perfect. Major group 22 angstrom, perfect, no problem. Two sugar phosphoric back chains 3 and 5, perfect. Central nitrogen chain adenine and group guanine is combination perfect. First one with 2 hydrogen, second one 3 hydrogen is absolutely clear. What stands out is instead of 20 angstrom, it is 21 angstrom, and strand is 22, and strand number of strand is 10.344, and height is this. These are first which I talk are the one which stand out in the name of DIVYANK B-Double Helix, which is a perfect one. Others are disease models. Let's not go into it. Let's give the world one knowledge for everyone. So there is uniformity. And I find books written in different schools from different levels is so different when they come to me for education at a school level, college level, university level, and further. I have a difficulty making the unlearner relearn. And that is maybe the reason why in the 30 years of my research, I felt it is my duty to lay behind the perfect knowledge of maths, physics, chemistry, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology with Divyank for the world to say this is uniform. Now I leave it to the world to take it or not to take it. I cannot change anybody. It has changed me to make me more perfect. Think of everyone in the world. I am truly today like a real custodian who wants everybody to be healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. That's it. Now the comes the question of unexplored aspect of Divyank, as I've told you very clearly first also. You have adenine and thymine, 70 plus 60, 136. Cytosine and guanosine as 136 is also something which has not been spoken by anybody. That's the reason I talked about protons. Ribose 80, deoxy 72, phosphoric acid 50, and then this is the particular picture which protons make it very. I'm not talking of electron, I'm not talking of neutron, I'm talking of protons only, which is Shakti inside the cells, which is very clear to define and find it out because there is stability in that. That's it. Now the question of something which is much higher level. Upper two pictures are the sections by the science which talked about B-double helix. But if you take the picture on the right side on top and the picture which I have designed of Divyank, you can see the outer are 22 by 21 in both the pictures. That's one thing which I wanted to show. 22 by 21 is the first stage of creation. 21 parts of cell become 22 parts and then move on. Then you have 10 stages of development. Then you can see 10 pictures in both as well as third one. And that shows there are 10 stages of development, 10 strands which I'm talking about. But third aspect in upper two picture is not very clear. Where I made it very clear in my picture of Divyank, you can see 5 white tetragons which represent 0.33419, which is the third stage of maturation. So as a result, the whole structure of Divyank and DNA, human DNA, are very identical, including plant DNA. Let's get, because that is the basic structure which nature designed. If you make spiral galaxy is with 10 suns and solar system with 10 planets and human cells with 10 chakras and in DNA also have 10. And I think that is what I'm trying to show. There is uniformity. That is what ancient scriptures always say. Universal consciousness and human consciousness are identical. Brahmandam, Pindandam, one. And unless until we know both are identical and show in mathematically conclusive physics, chemistry, biology, medical sciences by and large, we are not leading the world to a level which world deserves it. Having explained that, we need to have a uniform syllabus for every child, every student, every researcher, every author, every person in the world, uniformity throughout the world. And that is what my objective is. And I think everybody should be happy because we are creating a uniform syllabus for the entire world, for all the people coming from all the countries of the world, and so that we have a uniformity and there is a loving peace throughout the world for one and large. In this, the benefit of entire humanity is there. Let's go higher and higher with impeccable wisdom because that's the only thing which is solid. And that's it. Let's move on to the next stage. This is the last picture. I'm not going to get into detail. I think what I've said is more than enough for eye opener for the world. We need now time to stage to go to the higher levels of consciousness and say the world needs impeccable wisdom, and that comes from Akhand Vidya to start with. Now everybody can come and add their value with Divyank in mind. We'll have a perfect syllabus for maths, physics, chemistry, biology to all the subjects, uniformity throughout the world for love of humanity and love of world peace. That's it. Thank you very much.